Context and specificity are awesome. So recently my sister invited me to an art opening, and my only question for her was, oh, is it at that place on the second floor of that thing? And she said yes. And I showed up there at the specified time at the correct place, and that's not nearly specific enough for most people. But the reason that it worked is because we had context, but we didn't have specificity. So we're led to believe that specificity is so important, but in many ways context is equally important. One of my favorite examples of context without specificity is Only Revolutions by Mark Z. Danielewski. It's a novel written in sort of stream of consciousness poetry, and the only thing that I knew when I started reading it was that it was supposed to be an endless summer. But it's not an endless summer. It eventually turns into fall, and it eventually turns into winter, and that's sort of when the climax happens. But I didn't know that going in. And there's never a moment where Mark Z. Danielewski says the leaves started to turn. It started to get colder. It was finally autumn. And then it was winter. Instead, what he does is give me a lot of images that suggest fall, that suggest winter. And I knew that it was fall and I knew that it was winter because of context, but not because of specificity. Sort of the opposite of this is a project called the Composites. Link in the doobly-doo. The project takes police composite software and inputs literary descriptions of characters to come up with a sketch of what the author actually told us characters look like. And if you look on there, you'll find awesome renditions of Randall Flagg from The Stand and the Dark Tower series, and also things like Daisy Buchanan. But Daisy Buchanan does not look like Daisy Buchanan looks in my brain. And the reason for that is because of context. The Composites project is completely specific. It gives us exactly what the author was telling us to see. But it does not account for the fact that I knew a girl in grade school that I could imagine as grown up as Daisy Buchanan. It does not account for the fact that I knew a kid who had a younger brother who I could imagine a couple years older as Augustus Waters from The Fault in Our Stars. So when I read these things, I'm seeing people that I've known, or a combination of people that I've known, and the specificity of what the author is actually telling me. But the really valuable and interesting thing about this is that it delineates what we're told and what we actually see. And so we can be conscious of the fact that what we're imagining characters to be might not be exactly what the author intended, but it's part of our subjective experience, and so it's important and it's valuable, but kind of wrong. But I think that's it. I'm going to put a link in the doobly-doo to the Composites project. Also, I'd really like for you to read Only Revolutions because it's amazing, and you should read it because it's amazing and one of the most important things that I've ever read. And also, yeah, I mentioned Augustus Waters. If you haven't read The Fault in Our Stars, you need to read The Fault in Our Stars. So, you know, read those things, and I will see you later.